Tom, since you are the Vice President in Human Resources, I won't ask you for specifics, but obviously then you see this actually happening every day. You've had experience in your field or your career history where employees have maybe dealt with this and that kind of spirals down to lower productivity and...
Absolutely. One of the things that we've experienced over the years, and I like to think of it as some of the more distant years, was sort of a disconnect between employees and the company. And we really, particularly I want to say over the last 5 to 10 years, have put a lot of focus into trying to develop a stronger relationship and identity between the company and individual employees. It's good from a business. I mean, it is good for business, but it's also good for employees because, as Paul was alluding to, the worst thing in the world that I can imagine from a people perspective is coming into work in the morning and not wanting to be there and beginning the day just believing that the worst is about to happen and I just need to get through this day, make it to lunch and make it to 5 o'clock and then life becomes good again.
You put your Teflon undergarments on in the morning and say, okay, I think I can make it through this day.
Have you seen extreme cases?
Yes, not a lot, but there have been some extreme cases. You had mentioned it earlier. A lot of times it may have to do, it's a one-off individual thing, maybe a reflection, not even of what's going on at work, could be something going on at home or the like, but you do see some behaviors that really are not appropriate either in the workplace or at home for that matter. But so yes, you do see it, and not that much, but a little bit.
I think sometimes as adults, we become a little bit more sophisticated in how we perpetrate violence or hostility. We know that there are certain things that will get us fired, and certain things that we can probably get away with. And I think it's that some of the passive-aggressive forms of hostility that are probably the most damaging because you can't, in many cases, they're harder to detect. People may be reluctant to report them. And they may not per se be illegal, but they are damaging nonetheless because of the emotional harm that they cause people.
Yeah, frequently it takes the form of people withholding information. Okay. I know something that maybe Paul needs to know to do his job. I can put him on the spot by just not telling him.
And except in front of everybody else.
Except for in front
Why
of...
didn't you know that?
Yes. That makes sense.
Yeah. So that actually is one of those forms of disrespect that we are trying to get in front of and avoid.